Hey, rest in peace, my nigga. Catching people sliding drop tops. The ops flop when the picky go pop pop. I knock knocks and you niggas just pop rocks. I knock dots and you niggas just cock block. Hey. The ops drop when the picky go pop pop. I pop knocks and you niggas smoke pop rock. I knock dots and you niggas just cock block. Okay. Hi y'all. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. It's just me today. I am gonna go back into my story and kind of start to get everything back on track with that. And yeah, just here checking in, checking in. So I hope everybody's doing well today. Turn down my trap music. I got a playlist on, so if something come on that I feel, is grooving, I might have to get off track a little bit. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well again. I hope everybody, shit, hold on, let me read this real quick. It's from my daughter. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what she's talking about. Kamora, what you talking about? You seen my post, but you didn't watch my live. Where I was talking shit? I wasn't talking shit. And I hope that you don't think that I was. Because I wasn't. I'm just telling my story, baby. And I love you the most. You're the only person I can depend on. And you're the only person that always has my back. And you're the only person that keeps it real with me. So no matter what we've been through, I love you the most. Hello. Okay. So we're back on track with my story. So basically, we got up until the situation with Michael. That was in February. Well, I just told the story about what happened with you and, what's his name? Back when you were 16 and I kicked you out. That's it. But obviously, you're back in. You know what I mean? Well, she doesn't live with me anymore. She actually moved out when she was 18, and her boyfriend are doing their thing. So, which is what's supposed to happen with normal children that are raised correctly. So, I'm very, very proud of her. And again, nothing has ever deteriorated our relationship, caused us to be funky or nothing. That's my baby. I love her, and that was just a life experience for both of us. Another life lesson learned for you, Kiana. Anyway, petty. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Momo. I love you. All right, so the situation with Michael, that was February, right? So now we're in February 2024. I can't really remember anything that happened, in November or December. So anyway, November, let me visit that, because I did say that I wanted, or revisit that. I did say that I wanted to go back a little bit into the situation with Keon and why everything eventually fell apart. The only thing that I basically wanted to clarify, because I know I told the story already, I already gave you guys the details of what happened. There was several times when I was approached about the situation, and I never felt the need to justify or tell my side of the story until now, but everybody said that he put me out. He was telling everybody that I put him out. He was telling everybody I put him out. He told a lot of people that. He told a lot of people a lot of lies. And I'm just going to keep it true. Keep it real. What I told you is really what happened. It was simple as that. I never once said, Keon, get out. I never once put him out. I never once insinuated that he had to leave. Not one fucking time. So that is very important to me to clear up, because that was never the case. And unfortunately, the narrative was painted the way it was. And a lot of people believed him because, for whatever reason, everybody thought that I was had some kind of control over him, or I was dominating him, or he was the weakling and I was this overbearing woman that was making him do anything that I, say, and that I had this, I don't know what the fuck people thought, but that wasn't the case at all. You know what I mean? Keon is his own individual human being, just like I am. And I've never once demasculated him or tried to control him or have him where he needed to listen to me to make his own decisions. You know what I mean? He made the decision to leave. He made the decision to, put our marriage in the position that it was. So I do not take responsibility for that. And I just felt that it was necessary to say that, because a lot of people got me fucked up. A lot of people. A lot. Anyway, moving right along. So the last episode, I said that I got into a couple fights, right? I kind of wanted to go over that. That's what I'm gonna be doing today. I'm going to talk about the couple fights that I got into, talk about a few episodes of betrayal that I experienced during my divorce, or during our separation. So our divorce was recently actually finalized. So that actually shaped me into having different relationships with certain people. Now, I just wanted to reiterate.
I'm twice.
Sorry, Relly G. I'm gonna hit you in a minute. In a minute. Oh, okay. So, oh my God, the episode that I did with Michael, that first episode, I wanted to apologize for my demeanor because I was off shrooms and I had never been off shrooms like that before. Like I had did micro doses before, but long story short, it made me hella fucking giggly and even a little just over the top. I was watching that video last night and it was cringy, bro. I swear to God, even when I apologized for my outfit. But at the same time, I just wanted to let y'all know because I'm like, damn, if I wouldn't know any better, I would have thought I was on coke and all kind of shit. I've never done coke. I don't drink. I just, was experimenting with some hallucinogenics and I had a good time. And I was excited, obviously, to have Michael, on the show with me or the shit. So back to what I was saying. Woo! Yeah, so, okay, let's just go right into it. Okay, the apartment complex that I used to live in. Okay, so Keon left. He left me with the apartment. He left me with the, with the car and everything like that. Obviously, at that particular time, I was going through a lot. You know what I mean? So I had a neighbor. His name was Jonathan, and he would, look out for me sometimes. If I needed, some weed or something like that. At the time, my car was in the shop, so I had asked him for a ride to Bank of America, right? This was through text message. I'm not really sure what was going on that day with him, but he lashed out at me. He texted me back and he's like, don't you know I'm doing something right now? And why don't you go ask somebody else? And I can't remember the exact wording, but it was really, really weird. I swear to God, and y'all probably think this bitch just be lying. I swear to God, I'm not lying. I ain't lying about a goddamn thing that I've ever said, not once, and I won't lie. You know what I mean? So I was like, Jonathan, it's cool. You know what I mean? Just hit me whenever you get done doing whatever you doing. You know what I mean? The nigga straight up said, no, he said, call DeMarco and ask him. And then I said, okay, nigga, that's enough. You know what I mean? And he's like, are you an idiot? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? That's what he said. And I said, well, I'm coming outside. You know what I mean? Let's have this conversation. Mind you, he was my neighbor. He lived right across from me. So I came outside and I have to admit that I was already emotionally charged up from Keon had just left a couple of days before that. It was a lot going on with the Kimura and my mom's situation at the time. I felt alone. I felt abandoned. I felt overwhelmed with emotion. I felt a little bit, angry. I was angry. I was just going through the motions. So I didn't even have anything to say when I came outside. I just immediately started swinging on the nigga and we started fighting. You know what I mean? And I was getting with the nigga, I ain't gonna lie. But then he hit me in the face with his phone. This is this scar right here. My shit was busted wide open and the fight was over. You know what I mean? So I just left and walked in the house. I said I was about to go call the police, but I think that's some whole shit that people just say when they lose a fight. But of course I didn't call the police because I was the one that started the fucking fight. And then he's yelling, oh, she's finna go get a gun and this and that. Anyway, long story short, that was that. The next day, or maybe a couple days after, I went and apologized. You know what I mean? I apologized to the nigga. I told him I was wrong. I told him that what I did was out of, I was basically taking my frustrations out on him. You know what I mean? He was not receptive to that at first. He didn't really want to hear that. He wasn't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? But eventually, and to this day, I wouldn't say we're good, but if I see him somewhere, it's not going to be any problems. I can speak to the nigga. We'll have we can have a mutual conversation. So that was that. The second fight that I got into was with this lady that lived in my apartment complex. Her name was Ashley. Her and I had history of issues in the past, from her making racist comments to me, from her making comments about my children, from her making comments to her daughter about our children and, passing on messages through children, doing weird shit that I do not condone. So this has been 5 years in the making, right? I have always been able to turn the cheek or the bigger cheek or whatever, be the bigger cheeks, get big cheeks. Hey, but this particular day, again, I was going through all that shit with what's his name, you know what I mean? With Keon, and I can't remember if this was before or after the fight with Jonathan, but, I was at the liquor store one day and I was outside talking to some of the homies and not homies, but the local people that be at that particular liquor store. And, she happened to pull up and then she walked past us and the guy that I was talking to actually knew her. And so they started chatting and then, her and I got into some kind of conversation somehow. Mind you, we lived in the same apartment complex and her daughter, would come and play with my daughter. And I mean, every single day down there. Even when me and her weren't on good terms, her daughter would still come play. Because obviously that's not her daughter's fault. And I really loved little girl Abigail. So we were talking about that. We were talking about Abby, and I was like, it's because at that time we weren't talking. And she's like, oh, I was like, it's a shame that, the kids can't all just get together because they're all suffering. And she's like, yeah, it's a shame. And she's like, especially for Abigail. And I was like, no, for all of them. And she's like, no, for my daughter only, or something. She like insinuated that my daughter didn't matter type shit. And again, I'm sorry, I can't remember all the exact details, but I kind of just had a moment of like, enough is enough type shit with that bitch. And I just hit her in the top of the head as hard as I could. You know what I mean? And oh my God, it's so ridiculous. And then, everybody's like, oh, get out of here. She's going to call the police. Get out of here. So I did leave, but then I eventually came back. And I was just like, whatever's going to happen, I'm going to face it because that's just how I am. You know what I mean? I'm not running from shit. And the police never got called or whatnot. But, I did see her other times, and we've had other conversations after that weren't necessarily pleasant. Then she came to my house, and I opened my door, and she just started, you're the devil, and I cast you into the hell, the demons, and whatever the fuck. And I'm like, well, I don't believe any of that shit, so that you have no power. Get your crazy ass up off my goddamn shit, bitch. But anyway, that was that. But eventually, I wrote her a letter of apology. I took full responsibility and accountability for my actions, and basically just blamed the whole situation on me, which I'm good at doing that, because I just feel like that is sometimes the best way to go when you're dealing with certain people. But anyway, she was, again, not necessarily receptive, but she did send her daughter over to tell me thank you and that she appreciated the letter, and she accepted my apology. And I seen her again a couple times after that, and there's never any bad blood between her and I. We're okay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say we're, again, good, but we're okay. You know what I mean? And that's fine with me. So that was that. So going kind of back to the end of my marriage. Like, again, I said Keon left. This was November when he left. So December, January, February, March, and maybe a little bit up until April, dealing with him was completely irritating, completely difficult. He was very mean to me. He was very vindictive, despite telling people that I put him out, despite telling people that whatever he was telling people, he was getting other people involved, and even my children. You know what I mean? My children would come home and they would say, well, there was several incidents. They would say, Daddy, one particular incident, my daughter came home and she said, oh, Opa, which is Keon's dad, James Troy Stevens, he said that you do pills. And I said, no, I don't. No, my mom does it. And he's like, well, yes, you do. Yes, she does. And if she tells you she doesn't, she's lying. So I wrote him a message like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? You ought to be ashamed of yourself for telling the kids some shit like that. You know what I mean? And of course he didn't respond because accountability is difficult for some people, and I get that, but that's my story. That's really what happened. Keon had a girlfriend that was telling him not to give me money for the kids, and he really wasn't giving me no money. Like, I was completely over there. There was days, many days, where we had no food, where we didn't have anything to eat over there, and that nigga would not give me shit. Okay? Not a goddamn dime. Not a fucking penny. Not even a motherfucking hootie hoo, bitch. Like, he was just being very cold-hearted. He was doing a lot of reckless shit with my kids, around, and that was kind of fucked up. There was times where people would call me and have these, like, one time his brother called me and was like, I need to know what's going on with this child support. And I mean, like, I don't know what Keon was over there telling him. But once I got off the phone with Jason, he was able to tell, the tone of the conversation quickly changed. And he's like, let me find out this nigga's lying to me. Basically, oh, he didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me he didn't go and turn in his income and expense report, and that's why you're getting child support, when he went down there and trying to put me on it and put himself on that shit. You feel me? And that's just the way it works when you move like that. That is unnecessary. It's unnecessary to be like that. It's unnecessary to be vindictive. And when you put us in this situation, I'm literally over here alone by myself. You know what I mean? You got your mom, your crazy ass mom. And I'm so glad that I got to, that's another story. And that's another reason why I didn't take this as personal as I probably could have, because right before our divorce, his mom had came and stayed with us for 6 weeks. And despite me being in a relationship with Keon for 11 years, I had only spent a very small amount of time with his mother. And those 6 weeks exposed so much to me about how he is, just watching how she is, that once the divorce happened and he was being the way he was, I knew exactly why. He's rooted in that. He's rooted in bitterness. He's rooted in revenge. He's rooted in anger and frustration and insecurities. I hate to say that, because when people don't have control over you, then they're going to try to destroy you. They don't have control over the situation that makes them look good, or the narrative is being swayed, or you are legitimately validated for doing something, then they're gonna make you look bad to people. They're gonna lie on you. They're gonna have nothing but bad things to say about you because they want to paint this image that you are such a horrible person, so they can look somewhat justified in the way that they acted, somewhat vindicated for their behavior, somewhat, oh, I did this because she's this. You know what I mean? I don't know how people do that. It's like some form of delusion, because how can you make somebody look bad when they really didn't do shit? And then you want to take your frustrations and angers out on them because it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Why would a grown-ass man be telling my daughter that I do drugs? Why would a grown-ass man be, doing the things that they were doing over there? I mean, I used to hear all kind of shit. You know what I mean? My son came home one day and said, okay, let me go back to this. So he wasn't helping me, right? He had this little bitch named Betsy that was telling him, don't give me money. And I know this for a fact because she messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, I'm just messaging you to see if Keon gave you any money. I told him not to. Anyway, and I'm going to just say this and take it how you want. Only a hoe-ass nigga is going to allow a funky-ass bitch to prevent him from taking care of his motherfucking children. And it ain't got nothing to do with me because I never said bring me no money, nigga. I said take care of your motherfucking kids. You know what I mean? And that is all I'm saying. I never once verbalized this to him, and I never will, because I don't do that type of shit. I just let things work out the way they're supposed to, and I let the shit fall where it lays, because everything that comes around goes around. You know what I mean? And how you interact with the people that you're supposed to, in my opinion, when you have an obligation to somebody, that's called loyalty. You know what I mean? You loyal to a fault. You're not supposed to be wishy-washy. There ain't supposed to be no, oh, I'm not fucking with her. And I know a lot of people do that, but I'm just letting y'all know that's not really supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I could braid some goddamn hair. I could braid hair and pop pussy on a handstand, all kind of shit. I'm very talented. Anyway, hi, Stephanie. What was y'all talking about? Exactly, because I just said a whole bunch of shit. My bad. So anyway, yeah, so he wasn't helping me. So one particular night, I went onto Amazon and I ordered some groceries. And I did use his card because his card was on file on our Amazon account. It was like $43 worth of shit. And then, that happened or whatever. So a couple of weeks later, my son comes home and I hear him talking about something. Turns out this nigga Keon called the police on me and told them that I used his shit against his will, which I did, you know what I mean? And I apologize to him for that as well, but to order groceries for his children for food that we didn't have, you know what I mean? The officer obviously told him, bro, that's a civil matter. This is not a criminal matter. So get your funky ass on somewhere, yo, petty motherfucker. But to know that happened, you know what I mean? A lot of things that happen, I'm sure, behind the scenes never even get to me or have been brought to my attention, because I'm divinely protected, for one, because my intentions are always good. And the people that are doing this shit don't have no valid reason. Like, you mad at me for what? Because I'm lit as fuck. I believe that may have something to do with that. And I don't mean lit like in a way like, oh, I'm tired or nothing like that. I'm bright. I'm light. You know what I mean? I'm love. I bring things to the world that I believe a lot of people don't understand. And I think that is the main problem, in my opinion, just from my observation of the way that people treated me in the past, because people really don't like me for no reason. People don't really like me for no motherfucking reason. I got a cousin named Charlisa. We have a mutual friend and, a mutual acquaintance, because me and her are not necessarily friends anymore. Because last time I went to her house, her daughter said, my mama don't like you, and the kids don't lie. So anyway, my cousin Charlisa, she called our mutual acquaintance and she told her, basically like, you shouldn't hang out with Keon. I don't want you hanging out with Keon. And she's like, why? What did she do? And she's like, she didn't do nothing. And she's like, well, what is the issue? And she's like, I don't know. I just don't like her. I just don't like her. You know what I mean? I don't have to, me, I don't have to have a reason to not like somebody. So, and this is a cousin that I've let stay with me before, that I've done nothing but help and show love to. We've never had any like major issues. I've never done anything to her for her to say this about me. Never. And the bitch ain't never did shit for me either, for her to have the right to say some shit like that about me. So what is it that you actually don't like about me? Or that you don't like about yourself, that you see in me, that you want to, girl, get the fuck out of here with that weird ass shit. That shit is so weird. The same thing with the friend. Like, why is your daughter telling me this? Because it's been said behind my back. And when I went and analyzed the friendship between her and I, she probably really don't like me. And I don't know why. You know what I mean? Because this is also somebody I help. She's helped me too. This is a mutual friend that has actually helped me a lot. But with that being said, I thought I thought we was better than that. And it just makes me feel like I can't trust anybody, because everybody has some kind of fucking weird ass motive. Same thing like my cousin Charlize and her sister Regina. She don't like me because she asked me to watch her kids one New Year's and didn't pay me the money she said she was going to pay me for watching her kids, and we never spoke again. Now I'm mad and I'm weird and I'm the opposite. Her mom probably feel the same way. You know what I mean? Like, for no fucking reason. They just treat me weird for whatever it is in me that they don't like. I have no idea. And I can't control. And I ain't did nothing but show love to everybody. And there's nobody on this earth that can say otherwise. And if you ask these motherfuckers, line them all up, all these people that don't like me, and ask them why. And let's see if you get a valid fucking reason. She did this to me. She said this to me. It'll be a whole bunch of that Charliza shit. I don't have to have a reason. I just don't like her. Man, grow up, bro. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. And you need to realize that I'm not the problem. Okay? So anyway, moving right along. Okay, so all that shit was happening with Keon. Treat me like shit, being an asshole, trying to fucking destroy me. You know what I mean? I can even remember a time, and I'm going to leave this alone after that, when the whole Jason situation happened, when Jason called me and he was trying to check me about how much money I was getting from child support. And Jason is Keon's brother. I was on the phone with Michael at the time, and Michael was like, three-way that nigga. Let me talk to him. You know what I mean? What's going on? So I three-wayed him, and he told me to just be quiet. I'm listening to how Keon is talking to Michael about me. You know what I mean? He's telling him that she got 3 bank accounts. She got this. You need to watch her. Michael knows all of this information already. You know what I mean? It's not one thing that Keon said on the phone to him that he didn't already know. But he was just acting like he did it. You know what I mean? And Michael asked him, he said, well, is she a good mother? And he's like, yeah, she cool. And he's like, well, don't you think your kids are good people because of her? You know what I mean? Because doesn't she have something to do with that? And he's like, well, it's because of both of us. You know what I mean? And I mean, anything this nigga was asking him, he just wouldn't give me any credit whatsoever. You know what I mean? But mind you, Keon can't tell you not one doctor's pediatrician that these kids ever had. Probably even what school they go to. I barely even know Kamala's last name. Well, he probably do, because that's his mama's middle name. You know what I mean? He doesn't know anything. He's never had to enroll them in school. He's never had to do anything pertaining to doctor's appointments. He doesn't get involved in anything pertaining to KJ's IEPs. He's not familiar with anything that has to do with the children, that has to do with anything like behind the scenes versus just sitting there playing video games with them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to downplay his parenting, but the way that he downplayed me made me look as if I wasn't involved in this shit at all. You know what I mean? And that particular incident, I'll never forget. You know what I mean? Because out of all the years that we were together, out of all the things that I've done, and I'm the mother of your only 2 children. You know what I mean? And for you to pillow talk with another nigga about me is the ultimate disrespect. You know what I mean? And something that's unforgivable, and changed my view of him completely. You know what I mean? And I will never be able to look at him the same. Not that I ever wanted that to carry on that relationship, but it was just an eye-opening situation. The same thing with like my cousins and my family, and you know, different people that I've helped and I've been there for, and I've legitimately done nothing but good for. How they can feel about me, how they can treat me. Even going back to the night when Keon left, you know what I mean? His sister, his stepmom, all these people that I've helped and been good to, and that have inspired me in some ways that they've been in my life since my baby was a baby. Did not reach out to me. Don't have nothing good to say about me. You know what I mean? If you ask his sister how she really feels about me, she gonna have nothing. I talked to her not too long ago. The first thing she gonna say is, I told you not to marry that nigga anyway. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Girl, shut the fuck up. With your lying ass, supposed to put me in the prayer group, didn't put me in the goddamn motherfucking prayer group. Because you really don't want me there. You really don't. You just want to act like you are that, but you're really not that. And I really already knew that. I know that about all of them. They all fake. Keon's family is fake as fuck. Except for Jason. And a few other people. Like Kathy and him. Kathy's pretty dope. But anyway, yeah. And I I've never expressed these feelings to anybody, obviously, because I'm a lover. I'm a lover. I really am. And I don't take this shit personal because it ain't about me. And I know that for a fact, baby. Because I've never put nobody in a position where they had to feel like this way about me. Whatever it is about me that make people feel this way. And I hate to use the word hating or whatever. But I just go back to this. My lifestyle is so different from everybody else's. And things work out for me in such a beautiful and magnificent and sometimes like unbelievable way that I think nobody wants to see me doing anything. Nobody wants to see me like doing good. I really believe that. And I know it might sound paranoid, or maybe I sound delusional, or maybe whatever the fuck y'all want to think. But I live this life. I'm a very logical and aware and intelligent individual, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I can see what's going on around me. But God always told me that's not your job to worry about how these people treat you. It's not your job to worry about why they treat you this way either. And that's not your problem. You know what I mean? I'll take care of it. I'll run it back for you one time. I'll spin the block for you. You do not retaliate, react, or let them see you sweat, baby. You continue to show love and walk your fine ass on back to the world that you can control, your home, your atmosphere, your environment, because these people are miserable in their own life. These people are miserable in their own world. These people don't like themselves. And I go back to that constantly because that's just what it has to be. You know what I mean? Ain't that much hate in the motherfucking world. We grown as fuck. You know what I mean? For you to feel like you can't, what, nigga, for a motherfucker to tell somebody they don't like you for no reason is legitimately retarded. I mean, it is. You know what I mean? I could give you I don't like that bitch because she make me feel insecure about myself because she's so goddamn lit naturally. I don't like that bitch because she shit is just always working out for her. I was in that situation not too long ago and my whole shit fell apart. I don't like that bitch because despite what happened to her, she's smiling like a motherfucker. And she ain't even aging. Did y'all know I'm 40? I bet y'all didn't. But I am, baby. Hold on, let me read this. It is a mental illness. And a lot of us got sorry ass baby daddies, unfortunately. And I wouldn't even say sorry because to this day, that nigga come get his kids every weekend. He takes care of them. They're provided for. And that's important. It really, really is. He is there. But that vindictive bitterness will destroy you from the inside out. And that's why he looks his age. And that's why all his family looks their age too. And some of them look older. And a lot of them are never going to be happy because a lot of people in the world, and I'm not speaking, this is not me being petty. This is not me being a bitch. This is not me being like, that's what you get kind of shit. This is me telling my story. And this is my perspective, so I can put it into perspective how I like. And if you're offended by it, that's not my problem because this is really what happened. And you know what you did. And you know how you moved. And you know how you did it. You know what I mean? You don't know how it affected me because I made it look good. You know what I mean? I played it off like a real nigga would because that's because I'm supposed to. I'm a stoic individual. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I lead by silence and mostly silence, bitch, because you never know what I'm thinking. A lot of people call me unpredictable. A lot of people don't know what I'm going to do, but I like to move that way because it prevents me from being predictable. And being predictable is one of the first signs of being weak because nobody should ever know what your next move is. But silence is good. When people do me wrong, when people treat me bad, I just observe it, shake my head, and keep on moving. If I choose to still deal with that person afterwards, I know what I'm aware of. You know what I mean? I know what I'm dealing with. I know what I need to watch out for. You know what I mean? If I don't deal with that person anymore, then that's good. You know what I mean? That's a lesson that I learned. Let's move right along. You know what I mean? And then some people deserve the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes I'm no longer giving the benefit of the doubt these days to nobody for no reason. But sometimes when you're evolving to this, you do need the benefit of the doubt. And that's what I was saying before Kamora texted me. When you're going through this spiritual awakening or this, I mean, you can refer to it as whatever you want. When you're feeling different about how you want to live your life, when you feel like you want to start changing shit and, you know what I'm saying, growing and doing different things, everything is going to be brand new. And I didn't expect things to happen so rapidly, but my apartment was stripped from me, my husband, you know what I mean? When I decided to fully wake up from this, my daughter's relationship was renewed in a way. My mom, my sister, all these people were being revealed to me in an effort, in my opinion, to remove them out of the way. Because God forbid, where I'm going right now, where I'm headed, I can't have nobody in my circle that I have to watch, that I don't really know what their intentions are, which I don't really know how they feel about me. And I was one of those kind of people that would give family the benefit of the doubt because they're family. You know what I mean? How could it be anything more than love? You know what I mean? But family is quicker to try to sabotage you and treat you badly because they have that same mentality. Oh, we're all family. You know what I mean? It's not going to, I'll always have access to her. I'll always be able to ride her wave. And yes, I got a wave. I really do. And God has put me in this position to explore now and be more confident because I've always been humble, which I will always remain humble, but I'm no longer being humble in my gift, in my light. You know what I mean? I'm no longer giving people the opportunity to dumb me down. I'm no longer giving people the opportunity to make me feel like I can't shine and be bright and be who I really am. I am who I'm a vibe, bitch. I'm a whole ass motherfucking vibe. So, I mean, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? Anywhere I go, I can get something going. And that's for sure. You know what I mean? Niggas looking, bitches, babies, and ducks, and rabbits, and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? And that's not because I'm the finest bitch on the planet or nothing like that. I'm sure it's maybe about 6 or 7 bitches that look better than me. But other than that, no, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just on my shit today. I'm just popping my shit because my makeup came out pretty good. And I got some dick this morning. You know, that make you glow. Anyway, you know, long story short, I got to a point where I was starting to see what was happening. Because at first I was just like, damn, why is one thing after another just happening to me? But no, things were being stripped. Things were being revealed. Things were being taught to me. Different relationships were falling apart so other relationships can develop, you know what I mean? And things were starting to come, I was starting to realize what was happening, you know what I mean? So eventually I had to move out of my apartment in May of that year, 2024. The whole time I knew I had to move for 3 months, right? And I couldn't find a place. I'm literally looking every day. Every fucking day, spending hundreds of dollars on application fees. You know what I mean? This nigga Michael will call me and I'll cry on the phone with him for 20 minutes about how I can't find a place. You know what I mean? And he'd be like, oh, baby, it's all right. Oh, Michael, he used to go through it with me. But, so the day, because I wound up getting evicted, right? The day before the sheriff was supposed to come and put me out, I found a place. The day before, y'all, I'm not even fucking exaggerating. It was a garage conversion that this lady had turned her garage into like an apartment. It had a room and a bathroom and a little kitchen area and whatever. Wasn't nothing fancy, but it was a place to go, right? So not only did I not have no motherfucking place to go in that time, I didn't have the money. So even though I had found this place, I was just like, man, I'm not going to have the money until I had planned on I was going to be sleeping in my car. Like the kids was going to go with Keon the next day and I was just going to sleep in my car until I figured it all out, right? She was like, just give me what you got, which was $200, girl. Okay, so I gave her the $200. She let me move in and I was like, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get you the rest of this deposit by the end of the week. So I had met this dude on Facebook. It wasn't the dating app, but I was like talking to him, like, I forgot exactly how we got connected. I think it was like through a car detailing something or another. Anyway, his name was Terrell. But he had just went through this process with 211, like where they paid his deposit in his first month's rent to move in his place where he was at. So I called 211 and nigga, the shit got moving. You know what I mean? I told them that she was charging me double the deposit because I needed to catch up on my car note. But excuse me, because that wasn't a lie. That was more like a necessary fabrication, and I, definitely did repent for that. But anyhow, they paid my deposit, they paid my first month's rent. I was able to catch up on my car note, and then I also had a place to live, and that was a blessing. You know what I mean? Man, I could really just cry from that because the like miracle in that whole situation was down to the minute. That's all I can say about that. So I moved in there. I was living there, still dealing with Keon and, just trying to figure out how I was going to make it. You know what I mean? Figure out how I was going to survive, figure out what I was going to do. I don't even know, like, how I was surviving all up until, because I didn't get the job at San Quentin until December 2024. So I couldn't tell you, like, what I was doing. I know Michael was helping me out a lot. I know that I was struggling, you know what I mean, a lot. I know that I was doing the best I could, and I was just living, like, day by day kind of thing, you know what I mean? On the next episode, I'm going to go more into some of the things that happened to me over there when I lived in that garage, because a lot of things transpired with me and the landlord, and, like, different things, like, it got raided one time and by Homeland Security, and, like, I was all out in the middle of the street because the nigga next door to me was making fake money. Like, okay, so that was that. And then I will for sure go into the situation with San Quentin, why I'm not there anymore. And long story short, I got assaulted by a correction officer and ultimately got moved to Folsom prison for that because of that incident. And then a lot of shit happened at Folsom, a lot of retaliation because everybody already knew, including inmates, knew what happened at San Quentin. And so when I got there, I was being treated very differently. But to summarize that story up, I'm no longer working for CDCR. I currently have a lawyer in the process of suing, not CDCR, I'm not suing CDCR, I'm suing California Prison Industry Authority, the company I work for retaliation, discrimination, violation of labor laws. I'm trying to get some quadrillions out of their ass because they got me fucked up. So that's another thing that I'll go into as well a little bit, just to kind of, give you guys an idea of how that all ran down. I can't really think of anything else significant that really happened during that time, because I was just like really, I ain't gonna lie, like really wrapped up in Michael. Like that was when our relationship was really developing. And we, he took up a lot of my attention. Out of 15 months, I only missed like maybe 2 or 3 phone calls with that nigga ever. Like we was on the phone every single day, all day long sometimes, which was dope. So, had a lot of distractions. I was healing because going through the divorce and all that betrayal at one time and feeling abandoned, feeling confused. I was doing a lot of fucking. I ain't gonna lie. I was like having hookups meeting niggas and, you know what I mean? Like, just trying to just like figure that out. Well, I was with me and Michael broke up like for that little month or whatever. That's when I was doing all that fucking and just trying to figure life out. You know what I mean? That was what, like August to September-ish. No, not August. I'm sorry. Like the summertime, like July, a little bit mid-July, June, July. Yeah, July. Mid-June to July to like a little bit in August too. Because when he got out, you know, we did eventually like reach out and then I stopped fucking because I was like, I'm gonna get that. But like that time frame, I was doing a lot of fucking because I was just like, I was trying to heal. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to understand what was happening with me. I was trying to get my, get my bearings. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I had been married in a relationship for, 11 years. And before that, I don't even remember what I was doing before that, but I had never been like alone like that, like where everything was on me, all the responsibilities. It was time for me to put my big girl drawers on and, get it together. You know what I mean? That was a time when I really was just trying to find myself while still going through my awakening. And the reason why I stress that awakening part, because when you're going through that, it's not something that just happens overnight. You just wake up and you're just like, oh my God, I'm this new person. No, you are being stripped of every part of your old self, stripped of it. And I mean brutally sometimes, because I know for a person like me, I'm very, very I know this is going to work this way. I've always done it this way. This is the best way to do it. So when things are new and unfamiliar, I resist. You know what I mean? Of course. So that's what I was going through. A lot of unnecessary suffering because I was resisting. I wanted to hold on to parts of my old self, but still benefit from the new awakening me. And that is not how it works. You know what I mean? You don't get to do that. It's either one side or the other. So mind you, that's brutal. That is a very brutal process. I'm going through all that while that's happening. And I'm also learning new things. I'm learning these new parts about myself. I'm learning how to be confident. My confidence was like skyrocketing. Like every day I was just feeling more and more confident to do anything, not necessarily just be, in my appearance, but just confident enough to say no, confident enough to be bold, to be myself in every situation, in every setting, confident enough to understand my relationship with God was okay. And that the way that I praise God, the way that I love God, the way that I interact with God, and the way that I believe God was acceptable. You know what I mean? That was a hard one for me. Just breaking the bonds of what I was taught and what I thought to be true. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that what I believe is true versus what anybody else believes to be true, but it is a very, 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 very big difference in what I believe and how I praise God than most people. And I think that's important to bring to the light as well before I let you guys go. I don't see why we judge others for the way they love God. You know what I mean? If you love God, you love God. Whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a 7-day Adventist, Mormon, whoever, you know what I mean? I don't know all the motherfucking religions, but for the most part, we all just love God, right? We all want to serve God. We all want him to be pleased with our conduct. And I think that when we cast judgment on the way that other people do that, it shows more about us than it does about the core mission of what God set forth for us, which is to all love each other, right? That's what I thought it was anyway. To love each other, to have an environment where we can all be happy with each other and peace with each other. And hold on, Miss Michael. Y'all want to hear what he said? He said, baby, I just wanted to say this to you. No matter where we end up in life, and I hope it's together, but know that you're a special woman, and it's going to take a pretty special man to grasp and hold on to your attention. That's kind of why, when all is said and done, I know it's going to be me, but don't settle. What, nigga? I ain't. You know what I mean? And it is going to be you. And don't fucking play with me. Don't send me no shit like that. What the fuck? Anyway, maybe he's just having a moment. We'll clarify later. That sounds like some shit like that. I'm about to jump off a bridge and leave your ass there, but I love you anyway. Sorry, that's my overthinking. I love you too, Daddy. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, I don't know how long this has been. I've just been going on and on. I think I'm going to take a walk real quick before the kids get back. I love y'all. I appreciate the support. Every time I come on here, I'm able to get more courage to do more and tell more of my story. You know what I mean? I struggle with this sometimes because there's so many things that's happened to me that I feel people are going to not want to hear. You know what I mean? That people are going to feel like, oh, whatever, you know what I mean? Not that I care about that, but I don't want no problems with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to stir the feathers or fuck my bird up. You know what I mean? They need their feathers. I'm just trying to tell my story, and people should feel some type of something when they hear the part that they played in somebody else's suffering, when they hear the part that they played in somebody else's, pain, because that's not, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. If you don't like somebody or if you feel a certain type of way, and I wanted to also clarify with my sister, she is not obligated to want me in her life by any means. Nobody is. If the way that I live my lifestyle is something that she is not agreeable with, she has the right to say, Kiana, I do not agree with your lifestyle. I don't want to be a part of your life. That's fine. But that's not what it is. That's not what it is at all. It is judgment and ridicule and just complete weird shit. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between that. And, everybody has the right to decide who they want to deal with, but it should not be from a place of judgment and casting out. It should be, oh, that bitch still out of my purse. I don't want her around. Or, oh, that bitch got, she lives a certain lifestyle and I don't want her around. Just let that be the real reason. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to justify it with Christianity and coercion. Because that's what it is. You're doing a lot of coercion. You know what I mean? You're trying to coerce the children into thinking that I'm a certain type of way. When I see them, it's, oh, we're praying for you, auntie. We're still praying for you. Praying for me for what, little nigga? This lit over here. You know what I'm saying? Please don't have nobody praying for me that's praying for me to have a fucking problem, or oh God, please let her have something fucking happen to her where she has no choice but to turn her life over to you. I'm already with the nigga. Me and God ride solo on the bolo. You feel me? And don't worry about none of that, because that shouldn't be the concern or the prayer. The prayer should be, please allow me to become closer and love this person for who they are. If that's what you're really struggling with, please fix what's in me that is preventing me from showing your love to these people that need it. Please, God, prevent me from going against your plan, which is for everybody to know who you are in a loving way. Because I'm legit scared of Christians. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I would not step my foot in no goddamn church if you pay me. Because I am scared. I'm scared of the judgment. I'm scared of the actual reason. And I'm scared of the message. Because it's not, I feel like I might fuck around and catch on fire in one of them motherfuckers. And I do mean that to that extreme. And I'm seriously not trying to offend nobody. But the way that the church has been presented and the way that it is today is just not the same as it used to be. And there's a lot of stuff that's questionable. You know what I mean? And the core message just does not seem to be love. It does not seem to be love. Nowhere you go, nowhere that I've gone, no religion that I've studied, except for, when I told you guys about the 4 agreements, and that's not a religion, that's just a way of life. That's the only thing that I've read so far in my research, and I ain't read everything, that has a core message of love. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that, and that's where I want to go with that, and that's what I want to lead with that, and that's how I want to live my life. Love. You feel me? Well, that was an L, not a V in the licky. Ooh, that was inappropriate. Can we rewind? I didn't mean it like that. Oh my God, Jesus, no. I'm strictly dickly, by the way. I love a good dick. That's all I love, and that's all I want. But anyway, it's 4:00. I'm gonna finish my little joint here, and I'm gonna get up and get on with my life. So remember our last time I was saying that I needed to come up with some kind of outro, right? And so Michael said I should do, at the end of every segment, I should do Ronnie Ho quotes. Ronnie Ho quotes. Just say a little quote to leave y'all with some of this beautiful ism that I got going on. I got a lot of them too, right? I should have been a pimp. Maybe I was in my former life, but not this one. But anyhow, so first of all, I just want to say everybody have a good evening. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday. And on our next, hold on, I'm gonna read this last message that Michael sent before we go, because this might be some more. Oh my God, it's so long. Oh no, wait. Hold on, y'all. I didn't fuck that. God diggity damn. Oh, my bad. Otherwise, I didn't fuck that. Anyway, I'll let y'all know what he said on the next one. All right. It's been fun. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate you guys. I love you, Stephanie. Call me or message me sometime if you need me, okay? I love you. I really do. And I really meant what I said. Jennifer, it's good to see you. Hey, cousin. Hey, Mike. And hey, Demetria. And I hope everybody, again, has a good evening. Okay, so Ronnie Ho quote, outro. Ronnie Ho quote. This is a common one. Everybody probably already know this one, okay? Ronnie Ho quote. Bitch, if you knew better, you do better. Ah, like that. Write that down. All right, y'all. Until next time, bye.